Kenny Harriott is a champion in wheelchair racing. Kenny is the current British Marathon record holder. In 2004, when he broke the old record, which had stood for 13 years, Kenny became the first Scotsman in history to hold a British wheelchair racing record. Kenny has always been an athlete, but he has not always raced a wheelchair. Kenny is a former paratrooper and fitness instructor who liked tattoos, ran marathons, and competed in triathlons. He also had a passion for motorcycles. But in the year 2000, Kenny was hurt in a motorcycle accident and sustained a spinal cord injury that left him paralyzed.
The day of the accident, I was driving a motorcycle at 15 miles per hour. Went round the corner and hit some diesel, and the bike fell over. There was hardly a mark on the bike, hardly a mark on me. And it was just the way I fell. The doctor said it was forward flexion, which broke my back, severed my spinal cord. So I had 2 weeks in rehab, so by that time I was in hospital for 3 weeks. And that is when the doctor and nurse came through to speak to me and told me that I would never walk again. So then it was time to move on and really get into a wheelchair. If you can't get into a wheelchair, then you can't do anything, because the wheelchair is your legs, and without the wheelchair you can go nowhere. So they told me I was going to be in hospital for 8 months, and I ended up getting out in 3 months. I just got myself into shape, got a house organised, got a car organised, and I got out as quick as I could.
Remarkably, just 11 months after his accident, Kenny competed in a 10-kilometer race using a hand bike.
I just can't sit back. So, you know, I had to move on. There was one day when I was lying in bed watching the Sydney Olympics, and I'm watching the wheelchair athletes, and I'm thinking, well, maybe one day I could do this. And then, you know, 4 or 5 years later, here I am sitting in sunny South Africa. Nothing's impossible. Just look at me sitting here, from not even being able to sit up to now being British champion. So it's quite an amazing journey, you know, 5 years on.
Today, Kenny is a professional wheelchair racer and travels the world as Scotland's top wheelchair athlete. From Los Angeles to Belfast, from Sydney to Seoul, from Padua, Italy to Port Elizabeth, South Africa, Kenny races his wheelchair and inspires people in every corner of the globe. He also takes Hollister Continence Care products with him.
I take the Hollister products around the world with me, because I know that the Hollister product's going to work for me, and I trust that product, so I never have to think when I'm travelling, you know, is this product I've got going to work for me when I arrive in South Africa, America, Australia. I know that when I arrive there, I take the product out of the bag, I use it, and it's going to work for me. And I use the product and I believe in the product. But I love Hollister, I really do. I don't know if the people who do the job in Hollister actually understand how important it is, the job that they do. The job that they do is so important, because without that product, people like myself couldn't function. We couldn't go about our normal day without that product. And the people in Hollister, in those factories, packing those boxes, sending the casters out, the bags, the sheaths, they're making a difference, not just to me, but to all the Hollister users of the world over.